My lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is Made for Love, and today we're going to talk a little bit about ancestral healing, and especially using our spiritual gifts to transmute ancestral karma and your personal karma too. And if you're a twin flame, certainly karmic debts that both you and your twin flame racked up. Before I get into this, what happened yesterday is fully connected with a message that I have to deliver today. Now, if you guys aren't aware, you can go and look at my community post where I responded to someone who reached out to me in love. I really do believe that. I really do believe that. I have to tell you that. Who reached out to me in love by their own convictions, or maybe something. I think they were just repeating stuff that they had heard of, stuff that people had told them. Okay? So reached out to me in love to say that, she's praying for me, that I release this tarot thing because it's just a control thing where we're trying to see into the future when we should really be submitting to God with complete trust, which I agree. We're supposed to be submitting to God with complete trust. And it's just a fair response. Trying to dig into the future, etc., etc. She was praying for me that, I'll be delivered, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I had that response, right? Because it's really weird to me that somebody would come and tell me that about channeling and then go and sit in a congregation and listen to a pastor or priest channel for at least sometimes up to 5 hours. That's just really strange to me, because that's exactly what the pastor is doing. When he's writing his sermons, when he's delivering the homily, he's channeling. So how come his channel is illegitimate and my channeling is not? How can we beg the pastor, prophesy, speak in tongues, but we make fun of people who see visions of the future and who speak in light language? How can we exalt those who are speaking in tongues and then come and make fun of those who are speaking in light language? This does not make sense to me. This does not make sense to me. And I don't see why my spiritual gifts or your spiritual gifts need to be rubber stamped by anyone, any external person or organization for it to be valid. So it doesn't need to be validated by your family, your friends, or anyone close to you, nor any other organization for it to be valid. These are your gifts and you can use it as you please and wherever you please. I don't have to be in a church door to be using my gifts. So it was really, really strange to me, those sort of arguments that we hear coming out from mainstream religion. And I'm not against mainstream religion. I'm actually of the view that we can be both religious and spiritual. And I think that's what I'm meant to be finding the balance with in this particular lifetime. And so too my twin. My twin is the son of a pastor. 2 pastors. Look, just got a message. Not from him. Right? So that's confirmation. The son of 2 pastors of a fundamental Christian church. So you can imagine the drama that's going on inside of him right now. Getting those messages and then having all these feelings for someone who they consider to be the devil or whatever it is. Right? And I'm really starting to feel like this shaming that comes out of the church, that has come out of religion, which have nothing to do with Christianity anymore, as I see it, right? Because they have strayed so far away from the message of Christ and Christ consciousness. I don't think they should. I see another message, for more confirmation, right? I don't think they should be calling themselves Christians anymore, because they've strayed so far away from the message of love. How dare they? The same non-judgment that Christ preached. They want to come and try and shame other people. I don't understand that. Christ brought a doctrine of love and they've strayed so far from it. That's why I'll be following Christ and I will not be following their religious doctrine. All that dogma, I've rejected that, because I believe that's false teaching. I really do. I really do. Anyway, so, and in fact, I'm beginning to believe, I've heard it before, I'm beginning to believe that a lot of this false dogma that they've been teaching, and all this shaming that they've been trying to do, is to prevent us, those who have spiritual gifts, not to practice our spiritual gifts. And when we don't practice our spiritual gifts, let me tell you how this is linked to ancestral karma now. For a lot of us, we are meant to be transmuting ancestral karma by using our spiritual gifts for the light. Not just our ancestral karma, but also our personal karma. So when you don't step into the development of your spiritual gifts and you don't use them, how are you going to transmute the karma now? How do you accomplish your mission, what you're supposed to do here on this earth? How do you serve the light? And to me, if you don't do it, it's just going to be passed on to the next generation to do it. And if they don't have a clue, it's going to be passed on, and it just keeps going on and on. For a lot of you, your parents were supposed to be the ones helping to contribute and transmitting some of these templates, and they didn't. They didn't. In fact, they blocked their spiritual gifts out completely, and now it falls to you, right? So I'm asking you to really search in your heart and follow truth, follow love. Sometimes we have to forget about religion and do what is right and what resonates for our soul. I really do believe that. But I've gotten the message that we're supposed to be using our ancestral gifts in this world to serve the light, to transmute the ancestral karma. So let me tell you about my experience in the Akasha. So I've been working very heavily in the Akasha for the past, let's say 2 months. I would say it started about 3 weeks after I came out of the hospital, but I was called to do that work. Oh my gosh, so much personal karma, so much karma with my twin. And then finally this month they've been really showing me some ancestral things. So usually when I go into the Akasha, I'm usually walking down a step underneath, like a pyramid kind of thing, and I usually meet a light being or a guardian at the entrance. So I was telling my friend all about my different experiences, and she's like, you know, it's so strange, but I'm always walking up. I was like, walking up? She's like, yes. She says, I always turn right and walk up. I said, well, I always turn left and walk down. She said, okay, well, the next time she would turn left and the next time I would turn right. She says, did you see Anubis? I said, no. She's like, okay, well, she sees Anubis. I said, okay, so we trial experiment. So the next time I went into the Akasha, I turned right and I walked up and I went with my main guide. And we were walking up the stone steps. On either side, they had these torches with fire on top. I mean, like real Indiana Jones stuff. Okay? Real Indiana Jones stuff. And then when we got to the top of the pyramid now, I saw Anubis. I really saw Anubis. I was like, shit, this is what she was talking about. So anyway, I greet Anubis and I tell him why I'm here. I said, I'm looking for a clue or some information as to what ancestral karma I am meant to be transmuting in this life. And then he gave me a key and he said, walk down the corridor. So me and my guy, we walked down this dark ass corridor and we just see this light shining in the distance. We're walking in this, it was like total darkness and this light in the distance. And when we go in, and when we finally get to the light now, there's this big cavern, like a cave. And inside it looks like safety, like wall to wall safety deposit boxes, like in a bank vault, right? Wall to wall safety deposit boxes. And then the key magnetizes to a particular safety deposit box. And then I open it. And inside, on this black velvet, I tell you this crazy stuff. On this black velvet is this massive Star of Venus crystal. Now, usually I get one that's small and can fit in my hand. This one was big like this. Right? This massive Star of David crystal. And when I connected my third eye with it, they showed me this vision of Atlantis being destroyed and all these people drowning. And I'm like, so I'm asking my guide, like, what is this? And she tells me it's Atlantis, the destruction of Atlantis. I said, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? She says, Ade, rewind time. I said, rewind time? She says, yes. Go back to before its destruction. Just tell the crystal. So I tell the crystal, okay, go back, show me before the destruction. And when we went back to before destruction, there I saw my ancestors and a lot of other people in Atlantis too. They were playing with this, like, listen, it was a solid, but it moved like liquid. I don't know how to describe this thing. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, and it was like they were throwing it up in the air. It's a solid, but it moved like a liquid, and they were playing with this thing, but they weren't like treating this thing with respect, right? And they were just doing all kind of mad shit with this thing, and they were saying that this disrespect or this misuse of a spiritual gift and some kind of precious material was what led to the downfall of Atlantis. And a lot of people were involved, and this is karma that need to be transmuted. So I'm like, well, how the hell would I help transmute this karma? And she said, as you develop and use your spiritual gifts for the light, this is how this ancestral karma is transmuted. So them trying to shame you to not use your spiritual gifts, to me, is like an agenda. And they may not even know that they are part of an agenda, right? It's part of an agenda, so that this karma is always totally wrong on your ancestral line. And it blocks your ascension, right? So to me, it's very important, if you do have spiritual gifts, to find out what they are and to develop them to the best of your ability, because these are the talents that you were given. Okay? And you're meant to use them. Anyway, so that's me. So let's have a look at what ancestral karma, and this is not all of it, this is just what the message that they want you to have today. So maybe the most immediate, okay? What sort of ancestral karma do they want you guys to be transmuting? So just remember, through your own healing and through the time and energy that you might put into organizations that help people, this is how you transmute that karma. Okay, so let's see what is on the bottom. Okay, so for some of you guys, one of the big ones is domestic violence. Okay, so for some of you, you have a big history of domestic violence. Now, we know that domestic violence takes many, many different forms. So it could be physical, it could be emotional, not necessarily involving just parents only, children and so on. So it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be financial, it could be reproductive. Yes, they have this in my family. Reproductive abuse, there's all sorts of different types of abuse, right? Narcissistic abuse, whatever. This is what you're meant to be transmuting. Okay, so let's go. So whether you're helping organizations or just giving donations to organizations that deal with survivors of domestic abuse, or maybe building awareness, I think it's going to be very important for you. Or whatever spiritual gift, whether it's counseling or whatever gift you have, you're meant to use that. All right, let's see. All right, what else do they want to bring forth here? All right, so we have narcissistic families, and that ties in with the abuse there. We have the material world. Wow, so much truth shivers when I touch that card. So like I said, and it comes out again, guys. Domestic violence, it comes out again. I'm just taking for unvalidation addiction. On point. So the first thing we have the narcissistic family. So for a lot of you, your life purpose may actually be just showing your own children, or the children that you parent, or people that you parent, or people that you come into contact with, a different way of being than this narcissistic family template that's been running in the world for centuries and generations. Those narcissistic families where the image of the family is more important than what an individual family member is going through. So some of them, there might be sexual abuse going on in the family, and people keep it hush hush because people don't want people in their business and to judge their family. So the family image is more important than getting that help for that child. Same thing with maybe domestic violence. Everything is kept hush hush, right? Because the image of the family is more important. The health The health of the individual members in the family is not as important as what the world thinks or the public thinks about the family. All sorts of behaviors, selfish behaviors, a lot of violence, all these things. You're meant to transmute that by showing your children especially and the people around you a different way of being. Bringing that unconditional love, because this is what narcissism is all about. It's being disconnected from love itself. It's being disconnected from your heart space. It's been so deep inside your wounding and your ego that you're not able to connect with others and think about others' well-being. Okay, so for some of you, it is narcissistic family members. And then we have the material world. You're being called to make different decisions for your life. I think in decades past, centuries past, a lot of people might have made a lot of decisions about their love life, about their life path, based on their attachment to the material world. I mean, there are people, especially in the older generations, who came together for more confirmation, for material stability, and had absolutely nothing to do with love. In fact, they might have found love outside of their marriage, which led to even more drama again, right? More drama, more karma. Okay? Just because the decisions that they made weren't based from their heart space. In fact, there's some religions that teach you not to obey the heart. What did they tell me? I was going to this church in London. What is it? The heart will always lead you wrong, or some shit like that. They try to tell me, right? So a lot of people just making decisions just based on material gain and material stability, and just racking up more karma because they finally get stuck in these relationships, especially, and in these jobs that don't serve their highest good at all. So stressed out that they end up going into all kind of escapist behaviors and more karma being racked up. So you are supposed to lead the way by doing differently, by pursuing something that feeds your soul. For others, it is domestic violence. So whether you get involved in first it starts at home. Showing your family a different way of being. Showing your family a different way of handling their emotions. Showing your family how to communicate, right? So it starts with you and that little microcosm there. And for those of you who are called, then it can go into the wider world. Whether you create an NGO, whether you make donations to these NGOs that help domestic survivors, whether you're a survivor yourself and you start talking to other people about the impact that's had on you and how you survive this sort of abuse, because it tears you apart. It shreds every fiber of your being in this kind of situation. So a lot of you are being called to assist in this sort of way because maybe your ancestors or maybe even yourself in a past life may have been an abuser. I know I was an abuser in a past life. I've seen it. I have seen it. All right, and the last thing is, the people pleasing, validation, addiction. The people pleasing, wanting to be validated by others, and that's another thing that's related to the post from yesterday. It's like, unless you're validated by some kind of organized religion, what you're doing is demonic or wrong, right? So you have to break free from this. You don't need the approval from anyone. You don't need the approval from your family. You don't need the approval from your church. You don't need the approval from your spouse. This is your spiritual walk. This is your walk with the divine. It's nobody's business. Of course, you will communicate with your spouse what you're doing. You are going to inform, but it's nobody's business. This is yours. And all the different behaviors that we do to get that validation, whether we have lax boundaries, whether we don't love ourselves enough, sex addiction, all these different kinds of things where we're just looking for that validation, that stamp of approval from other people. We're to break free from it. And the best way to break free from that is being your authentic self. with all your beautiful gifts that you're meant to bring to this world. Okay? All right. So we're going to go into the tarot, the Ancestral Path Tarot. We're going to ask for a message, and then we're going to get some advice from the ancestors, and then we're going to close it off. It's going to be a kind of short reading today, right? I mean, well, it's long enough. All right. So let's see. What do the ancestors have to say about this ancestral healing path and the work that you're meant to do? Other messages might come out, but this is what we're asking. All right, and underneath the deck, we have Judgment in reverse. So this is exactly what I was saying. Unless we start transmuting this karma in a Seeber's way, and we're going to be blocking our ascension, okay? Not only that, these sort of heavy energies here also skew our judgment, okay? Especially when we're in our intimate relationships and our family relationships. We're not elevating these relationships to a higher level because we're still in these base energies, right? So it's about raising the vibration of your whole ancestral line. Okay, so the first thing we got Page of Wands, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy. We have Four of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. We have Strength in reverse. I'm getting a message for your love life too, but let's start with the ancestral healing first. And then the Tower. Interesting. All right, on this, let me read the messages on the surface, and then I'm going to clarify, okay? So, Spirit is saying they have given you a spark of spiritual energy. Because this is what it is. This is what the Page of Wands is all about. It's about that spark. It's about that beginning. So Spirit gave you some kind of spiritual gift, some kind of spiritual talent that you are meant to use in this world. But what have you been doing? Nothing with it. And you're supposed to use this spark for healing. And you've not been doing anything with it. You've been holding back. But Spirit says if you continue to hold back, what you're going to face is a Tower moment. That's what I'm getting here. Okay? So this is a call to mission. So all of you who have been lax and lackadaisical about it, maybe you're afraid to experience a gift because you're afraid of that judgment. Because that's why that judgment wasn't reversed. It's you're afraid of the judgment of others. Spirit is saying, you have to step into your power. For others of you, there's a love message here. Spirit is saying that you're going to bring somebody's bringing in some kind of message, some kind of healing message here. This person has been holding back all this time, but they had a Tower moment recently, and they were struck by lightning, and they are coming your way. Okay, they're coming your way. It's some kind of small message. They're gonna say hi or some kind of shit like that. Maybe piss you off a bit, but they're coming. Okay, so anyway, let's get into these cards, right? But in terms of ancestral healing, Spirit is saying they've given you a gift and it's time to use it. Yes, you've got a gift. You've got a gift. For the love message, somebody's coming in to bring a solid offer. But Spirit is saying you've got a gift, and if you start using this gift as well, this is how you're going to manifest your abundance. Okay, we have this Queen of Pentacles here. This is how you're going to get grounded and really set the stage for a lot of grounded energy in the future. For some of you, definitely there's somebody coming forward. Looks like a Virgo here, coming forward to make a solid offer to this Queen of Pentacles. Somebody's coming in with truth. But besides that, Spirit is saying it's time to step into the truth of who you are. And starts developing that spiritual gift. Okay, we have the Four of Swords. That's about healing, right? So Spirit is saying you've not been doing anything with this gift that's supposed to be for healing, and this is what is making you unbalanced, and it's also leaving your foundation, your ancestral line, unbalanced and ungrounded as well. And if you continue, it's going to manifest in your finances. Spirit is saying you're the Empress, act like it. You are the Empress, act like it. Yeah. Step into your power. Step into your power. Use your spiritual gifts. There's also a love message coming through again. It looks like somebody wants to make you some kind of solid offer. They want to manifest something new with this Empress, but they feel like they don't have enough money, so that's why they've not been doing anything with it. All right, so in terms of the Strength card, yeah, you've been holding back on your power. Yeah, hiding from the world, not expressing your true self to the world. Okay. Yeah, you've been deceiving yourself, lying to yourself, and lying to the people all around you because you've not been your authentic self, and that's been causing a lot of conflict inside. I remember when we're conflicted inside, we also manifest conflict on the outside of ourselves. So Spirit is saying, you have to step into the truth of who you really are. Now, this person who's been holding back here and not stepping into their authentic self and not talking to you, they've been lying to themselves, and they've been lying to you, and they've been lying to all the people around them, and that's why they've only had drama in their life, because they're not being real. Look, we have the Tower, and I just saw the Tower again. Bam. What's this Tower? Yeah, Spirit is saying if you continue as you are, you're going to face a Tower moment, and you're going to be forced to heal, because it's part of your mission at this point in time. Right? You might be feeling insecure. You may not be feeling confident because maybe you're afraid of what other people will say. But Spirit says you don't need a stamp of validation. You don't need that. All you need to do is walk away from the things that don't serve you and go and follow your intuition and move towards the Nine of Cups, which is total wish fulfillment, and which is you being your authentic self. The other thing that I'm getting is your person has had a Tower moment, and that has forced them to heal. So all the insecurities that they may have had in the past, especially about being with you, they're walking away from that right now. All right. So Spirit is saying you've gotten a spark from Spirit, a spark of fire from Spirit, right? The spiritual gift. It's meant to be developed, and it's meant to be used to heal the ancestral line. For some of you, you've not been doing shit with it. Okay, look. Yes, look at all these people behind here. Right? This whole line you're meant to heal, from those that have passed and those going forward. Yeah, you're meant to, but you have not been doing anything with it. You've been holding back, afraid of people's judgment, afraid of what other people will say. But Spirit is saying, if you continue like this, you're going to face this Tower moment. Step into your authentic self. Be brave. Be brave. All right, so let's get one last message, and then we're going to close off this reading, right? But I had to tell you guys this today. Spirit, what is the message for us? Moon in reverse. It says, take note of intuitive messages, but it's in reverse. So some of you have been ignoring the intuitive nudges that you've been getting. All right, let's get a message here. Oh, beautiful. What is this? Ooh, it says winter. And when we talk about being in the winter of our years, we're talking about maturity. And it says, take care of your needs. So by taking care of yourself, by practicing self-care, by loving yourself, by healing yourself, by developing your skills, this is how you're going to transmute the karma that you're meant to transmute, both personal, with your twin or soulmate, and for your ancestral line. You have to focus on yourself. And it sees a wolf, lone wolf. So this is an inside job. This is a job you have to do alone, and you have to have a lot of confidence. Let me read winter for you guys. Okay, you see page 144. And 144 is an activation code. Time to activate yourself. All right, so this is your call to mission. So if you've been hanging on the sidelines, Spirit saying, time to step up. It says, do everything you need to be your best. Then move beyond your fears and limitations. So all the fear of judgment and all that stuff, you just leave that behind. It says, for many in the animal realm, winter is a time of hibernation and retreat. So this is all about healing, right? You may wish to curl up in a ball too, but although you may not feel as bright as you'd like, a primal force within you is encouraging you to continue. The winter card features a wolf, one of the few animals that stays active all year round. Wolves know what it's like to work alone or to thrive within a pack. So if you feel the need to go it alone at this time, know that wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space, on your own skin. You have an opportunity to move beyond your fears. Although you may feel in the dark, get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem to be a challenging process. Ask yourself, what do you need to feel supported and alive? You may uncover something from your past, that you have buried deep. Know that when you unearth it and shed light on it, you create space for miracles. Oh my gosh, so much true chills. You may feel like a lone wolf right now, but it's time for you to be the alpha. When the winter card arrives in the future position of a spread or as the last card in a reading, it can also indicate that the coming winter will usher in an important energy with regards to your question or intentions. This is a call to action, guys. Move beyond your fears, move beyond your limitations and the ways that others want to limit you. You are limitless and you are being supported by the divine. Once your intention is good and you're following love itself, don't let anybody trying to shame you, okay? All right, guys, so this is your message today. I hope it was helpful, and I thank you guys for loving and supporting me always. I didn't expect that response to my post, but I did feel like some people were facing those kind of shaming energies, and that I had to encourage you guys. All right, so take care. Bye.